You know that feeling when you wake up on game week and something just feels different. That electricity in the air, that sense that everything we've been building toward is about to face its biggest test? Well, Bears Nation, today I'm bringing you news that's going to change how we approach this Sunday's showdown in Green Bay. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around because what I'm about to share has massive implications for our playoff push. Welcome to Bears News Fan Report, your home for the most up-to-date news, insider analysis, and all the rumors surrounding our beloved Chicago Bears. I'm here to make sure you never miss a beat, and today's episode is one you absolutely cannot skip. Before we dive into the headline that's shaking up our game plan, let me set the stage for you. We're coming off a stretch where this offense has finally found its identity. The ground game has been absolutely punishing defenses. Our young talent is starting to flash that potential we all saw on draft day, and there's a genuine belief in this locker room that we can compete with anyone. But here's the thing about the NFL. It's a league that tests you constantly, that forces you to adapt, that demands depth and resilience from every single position group. And right now, we're about to see exactly what this team is made of. Now, I want you to think about our receiving core for a second. We invested heavily in building a dynamic, explosive group of pass catchers who could stretch the field and create mismatches. We brought in talent through the draft, we developed guys in our system, and we've been watching them grow week after week. But what happens when you take away one of those key pieces right before a divisional rivalry game? What happens when the depth chart gets tested in the most hostile environment in the NFC North? That's exactly what we're dealing with right now, and the ripple effects are going to be felt across every aspect of our offensive game plan. I've been analyzing this situation from every angle, looking at the matchups, studying what Green Bay's defense does best, and considering how our coaching staff is going to adjust. And here's what makes this so compelling. This isn't just about one player missing one game. This is about opportunity. This is about young players getting their moment to prove they belong on this stage. This is about our offensive coordinator getting creative and showing the entire league that we're not a one-dimensional team. Because let me tell you something, the best organizations in this league are the ones that can overcome adversity, that can plug in next man up and not miss a beat. Let me take you back to earlier this season. We've seen situations where key players missed practice time during the week, and we all held our breath wondering if they'd be ready by Sunday. Sometimes they'd sneak in limited work on Friday and miraculously be good to go for kickoff. It became almost routine, right? You'd see the injury report, you'd see limited participation, and then boom, they're out there making plays when it matters most. Well, this week unfolded differently, and that's when I knew we were looking at a genuine situation that would impact our approach against the Packers. The medical staff has been monitoring this closely, and you have to respect the organization for being cautious with our long-term assets. We're not just thinking about one game in December, we're thinking about building a sustainable winner, about protecting the future of this franchise. But that doesn't make it any easier when you're staring down Aaron Rodgers' successor and one of the most intimidating atmospheres in professional football. This is where championships are built, though, in moments like these, when everyone counts you out and you have to dig deep and find another gear. So here's the moment you've been waiting for, the news that's going to define how we attack this Sunday. Rome Odunze, our talented wide receiver who's been developing into a reliable target, has been ruled out for the game against Green Bay due to a foot injury. That's right, Bears Nation, we're going into Lambeau Field without one of our key offensive weapons. Now, before you panic, before you start thinking this derails everything we've been building, hear me out on why this might actually be the catalyst for something special. Odunze's absence is disappointing. There's no sugarcoating that. He's shown flashes of brilliance. He's been working through the growing pains that every young receiver faces, and he was starting to build real chemistry with our quarterback. But here's where it gets interesting. The Bears didn't invest in just one receiver. We didn't put all our eggs in one basket. And we built depth, we drafted talent, and now we're about to see if those investments pay off when the lights are brightest. Enter Colston Loveland and Luther Burden III. These aren't just bodies filling a roster spot. These are highly drafted rookies who came to Chicago with expectations, with talent that made NFL scouts salivate, with the kind of upside that gets fan bases excited about the future. Well, the future is now. This Sunday, they're going to get extended opportunities to show why our front office believed in them, why the coaching staff has been developing them, why Bears fans should be excited about what's coming. Loveland brings a different dimension to our passing attack. His ability to work the middle of the field to create separation in tight windows, to be that reliable chain mover on third downs, that's exactly what we need in a hostile environment where every possession matters. And Burden? This kid has game-breaking speed, the kind of explosiveness that can turn a simple screen pass into a house call, the type of athleticism that keeps defensive coordinators up at night. Now they're going to get their chance to prove it against a division rival in a game that could have major implications for our season. But here's what really excites me about this situation. Remember what I said earlier about our ground game being dominant lately? That's not an accident. Our offensive line has been mauling people up front, our running backs have been hitting holes with authority, and we've been imposing our will on defenses. Odens's absence might actually push us to lean even heavier into what's been working, to commit fully to that physical smash-mouth identity that wins games in December and January. Think about it strategically. Green Bay is going to prepare for our passing attack. They're going to study film of how we've been spreading the ball around. They're going to have plans for our top receiving threats. But what if we come out and just run it down their throats for 4 quarters? What if we control the clock, keep their offense on the sideline, and win this game in the trenches? That's old school football. That's Bears football, and that's exactly the kind of statement we could make this Sunday. I've been studying the Packers' defense, looking at their vulnerabilities, and here's what jumps out. They can be gashed on the ground when you commit to it, when you're physical and relentless. They struggle when they can't get off the field on third down, when opposing offenses control tempo and possession. This is our blueprint. This is how we can go into their house and steal a victory that would send shockwaves through the NFC North. Now, I'm not going to pretend this is ideal. Of course, we'd rather have a full complement of weapons available. Of course, we'd love to have every option at our disposal. But this is the NFL, this is professional football, and the teams that succeed are the ones that adapt, that overcome, that find ways to win regardless of circumstances, and I genuinely believe this Bears team has that kind of character, that kind of resilience. Our coaching staff has been preparing for scenarios exactly like this. They've been developing depth. They've been cross-training players. They've been building a system that doesn't rely on any single individual. That's championship-level thinking. That's how you build a sustainable winner. And Sunday is going to be the ultimate test of whether that philosophy translates to victories when it matters most. I want to talk about the bigger picture for a moment. This season has been about growth, about development, about establishing an identity that can carry us forward. We've seen flashes of brilliance, we've had frustrating moments, we've experienced the ups and downs that come with building something special. But through it all, there's been a consistent thread. This team fights, this team believes, this team refuses to quit. And that's exactly the mentality we need heading into Green Bay. The Packers are expecting us to fold without Odunze. They're expecting us to be limited offensively, to be predictable, to be beatable. But what if we come out and shock them? What if Loveland catches 8 balls for 90 yards and a touchdown? What if Burden takes a jet sweep 60 yards to the house? What if our running game totals 200 yards and we control this game from start to finish? That's not fantasy, that's possibility, and that's what makes this Sunday so compelling. I've been covering this team for a long time, and I can tell you that the games that define seasons often come when you least expect them. This is one of those moments. This is where we find out what kind of team we really are. This is where depth becomes destiny, where coaching matters most, where belief transforms into reality. And I'm choosing to be optimistic. I'm choosing to believe in what this organization has built. I'm choosing to trust that we're ready for this moment. So, here's my final analysis on this Rome Odunze situation. Yes, it's a setback. Yes, it changes our game plan. Yes, it creates challenges we'd rather not face. But it also creates opportunity. It gives young players a chance to announce themselves on a big stage. It allows us to lean into our strengths and play the kind of football that wins in December, and it tests our depth, our coaching, our resilience in exactly the way that championship teams need to be tested. The question now becomes, how do you feel about this, Bears Nation? Are you worried about going into Lambeau without Odunze? Are you excited to see what Loveland and Burden can do with expanded roles? Do you trust our ground game to carry us through? I want to hear from you in the comments below. Tell me your thoughts, tell me your predictions, tell me what you think this means for our playoff hopes. This is your community, your space to voice your opinions and debate with fellow fans who bleed navy and orange just like you do. And listen, if you want to stay ahead of every development, if you want insider analysis you won't find anywhere else, if you want to be part of a community that lives and breathes Bears football, then you need to subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, because things are moving fast and you don't want to be left behind. We're building something special here at Bears News Fan Report, and I want you to be part of it every step of the way. This Sunday is going to tell us a lot about who we are as a team. Let's rally behind these guys, let's support the next men up, and let's believe that we can go into Green Bay and get a statement victory. Bear down, and I'll see you in the next one.